I must actually admit to you that I learned about the being present, like really being present with my kids over the summer. Here in Spain, the summer is very long, and I'm trying to build up my new business, become a fearless father, and I have all these ideas in my head. So, I have at one end, my wife has her job, so she goes actually early in the morning to her work, and then I'm with the kids all day long, and I planned it out so that I could do some work as well while they are playing or whatever. And I noticed that I lost my patience when I'm working and they're coming to my desk asking me something.
Mm.
And the last couple of weeks, I finally started realizing, like, okay, I am so tense and stressed. It's because I'm not focused on what actually really matters. I'm trying to teach people to become a fearless father, but at the same time, what I'm doing is I'm doing my work instead of being the fearless father for my kids. I'm like, no wonder I'm losing my patience and I'm yelling at them. So I said, that's it. So now the kids go to school at 1. This month they come home pretty early. And I said, look, I work until 12:30 and then I'm going to pick them up and that's it. I know I have lots of stuff to do, but I'm not doing that. I'm focusing on them. And I must admit, Andy, it's such a difference. I'm more relaxed and they are loving it. We're playing memory, we're playing puzzles, we're doing what I call mastery. So I let my oldest one write, so he improves his skill on that. And then with my youngest one, we're drawing. And it's like what you just mentioned. It's like being present and living in the moment, and it's a complete shift in everything.
Mate, but it also means that you've got to really focus before 12:30 on getting your work done. You probably get twice as much work done because you're totally focused on your work, and then you're totally focused on your children. But I don't know how old are your children? Are they little?
They're little. They're 2, almost. Well, I should say almost 3 and 5.
Oh man, you see, this is the most important time of their entire life, my friend. Their entire life. You know, the significance that you're playing in their life is incredible because the thing about emotions and particularly happiness isn't a real thing, okay, Klaus? So happiness isn't a thing. Happiness is a feeling. Okay, so it doesn't exist anywhere outside. It exists it's an internal thing. And I think in terms of getting your kids to be happy, nobody ever teaches you how to think. So you've never had a thinking lesson, and you don't teach your children how to think. It's the most important thing you ever learn to do. Nobody formally teaches you how to do it. But what they will do is they will look up at their role models, which is you and their mum and their grandparents, and they will copy what you do. It's called social learning, and that is basically it. So without you formally teaching them how to think and how to speak, and they will just look at you. Dad is the hero. Whether you're a good dad or a bad dad is relevant. You are a hero in their eyes, particularly if you've got a boy, okay? And they will copy exactly what you do. They will look up at you and they'll go, oh, that's how you do it. That's how you think. That's how you behave. So the time that you're spending with them is just the most important thing because you are shaping their entire future. I don't know if you've heard of epigenetics. It's like a new area of a gene. I'm not clever enough to understand it, Klaus, but basically epigenetics essentially it means that your genes aren't fixed. We used to think your genes were fixed, okay? But up until the age of about 7, your genes are flexible. You can shape them. So look, if we take an example of love. So love, if you can bathe a child in love, and they feel totally in the moment with their dad, and they have a nice calm upbringing, and they feel love up to the age of 7, that literally rewires their genetic makeup that sets them up for life. And if you take the opposite of that, if they're ignored and they're on an iPad and they have no human contact and they have bad parenting, then that will once again literally rewire their brain in the wrong way, will set their life up, their genetic makeup up forever. So what you're doing is so crucial. But as you've alluded to, it's not easy. It's easier probably to take some work to the zoo. It's easier to continue working till 5 o'clock and get irritated with your children. That's the easiest thing, mate, and that's what most people do. They do what's easiest, but at least you're trying to do what's right. Trying.
It's all about trying in the end. Trial and error, I say. and what I've noticed so far as being a father, you fail more often than you succeed. But when you succeed, it's really awesome, and you find your way through it. But they change so fast. It's like you figure out something, they like it, and then within a month, it's like, boop, and they just switch. So you got to keep up as well, which makes it very interesting. But
it's exhausting, mate. It's a bit like if you're with your children pretty much from 12:30 all the way through. That's a bit like being a primary school teacher. You're not far off, and that is exhausting. That is physically and emotionally exhausting. So once again, we're back to the point. It isn't easy to be the best dad in the world. It's easy to be average dad. And that's why most people are. That's what average means. It means you're doing what everybody else does. So daring to stand out, daring to throw yourself wholeheartedly into parenting and be the best parent you can be is the biggest thing you'll ever do for your children.
Hey man, I hope you got all the information out of this that you were looking for. If so, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you hit the bell, then every time we come out with a new video, you will be informed. For now, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you soon.